Nights. Hey, how you doing? Oh my goodness. Let me try to fix the angle there. Still kind of tilted. Doesn't matter. Okay, so as you could probably tell from the title of this video slash live stream, I want to talk about how the Filipino government works. And the reason that I want to talk about this is because I've been curious for quite some time. I mean, I've kind of known bits and pieces of it, but I find that there really aren't a lot of videos online about this, and I was hoping to be able to bring a little bit of this information in and whatnot. Hey, Mohammed, how you doing? So I wanted to sort of bring some of this information in together, and also because I am not an expert in this, I need Kumusta? Mabuhay! I need your help to call me out in the comment section down below if I get any of this wrong, or if there's added context that maybe I should put into like a dedicated proper video. Hey, how you doing, Richard? Hey, how you doing, B? So anyways, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. And I'm going to do my best to not get sidetracked with the comments from the live stream and answer some of those questions and or comments later. And yes, I'm aware there is like there's a ghost image. I think it's caused by my cell phone and the what do you call it? The cover that I have on there, like the little plastic thing, the screen protector. I think that's what's causing that. I'm working on getting a different setup with a proper webcam and all that. But right now I'm using my phone. Okay, so the Philippine government works very similar to the U.S. government in a lot of ways, and a lot of this kind of boils down to the fact that there's a big U.S. influence in the Philippines. For many reasons, the Philippines was at one point colonized by the U.S. In fact, the U.S. was one of the last, or was the last country to colonize the Philippines before they gained their independence. So there is a lot of that influence there. I'm going to do my best to stay out of the politics on this, on everything. I'm going to try to stay out of the politics on everything. But I understand that some people in the Philippines are like, yeah, U.S. And some of them are like, they have a finger for us. I'm just a little bit too polite to tell you which one. So anyway, there are a lot of similarities. Like, for instance, the Philippines does have 3 different branches of government. There's the legislative, the executive, and the judicial. And they work very similarly to the way the U.S. does. Like, for instance, so the Constitution gives power to those 3 branches of government, similar to the U.S. And the legislative, that makes up Congress, the Senate, and the House of Representatives. The executive branch, that's the president, vice president, and the cabinet. And we're going to get into the specifics of what all of these are and what they do and sort of that here in just a second. The judicial, that is the Supreme Court and other courts in the land. Those are the 3 different branches of government in the Philippines. Now, there are a lot of things between the Philippines and the U.S. that are very similar, and I'm going to do my best to kind of focus a little bit more on the differences, just because those are the things that stood out to me, because as I was learning about the Philippine government and all that, that's the things that stood out to me are the things that were different. So if you could do me a favor, if you're watching this, hit that like button right now. Thank you for making it this far into the video. All right. So the president and the vice president are elected, but they're elected independently. So, for instance, here in the States, the president, he's like the guy who's all like, this is my man. This is my guy, and I'm going to run with him. And if you get the president, you get the vice president along with him. David, I am not currently in the Philippines, but you never know when that could change. Anyway, if you get one, you get the other. But in the Philippines, they actually have a system where the president picks a running mate, a vice president, and you can actually end up with the president over here and the vice president over here. So the equivalent in U.S. terms, and thank you guys so much for hitting that like button. I saw that jump up. I appreciate that. The difference there is to equate it back to the U.S. because that's what I'm familiar with. You could end up with let's say a Republican president and a Democratic vice president, or a president and vice president of different parties, and that it took me a second to wrap my brain around that. And I'm not sure how I feel about that. That could either be the most awesome and epic thing in the world, or not so much. I don't know. If you have experience with this, let me know in the comment section down below. Let me know how does that end up working out in practice. Is that usually a good thing, or does it obstruct and keep things from actually happening? I don't know. But I would love to hear from you down there. Hey, Mac, you're not first. Ha ha. Okay, so that's really interesting. That's really cool. Now, Senate is actually made up of 24 senators voted on by the people. BK, essentially that you're right there. What would happen? I don't know. Would we get more done or less done? I don't know. Senate is made up of 24 individuals. The Senate here in the States is much larger. But I mean, I don't know. It's interesting to me that Senate is so small. However, the House of Representatives in the Philippines, it is made up to 250 individuals. That seems like a rather large number. Wow. And the disparity there between 24 in the Senate and 250 in the House, that kind of blew my mind a little bit. That was something I was not expecting. Oh, somebody else hit that like button. Thank you. I appreciate that. Daniel, awesome. I will look into that. Probably maybe right after the stream, maybe after I grab a snack after the stream. Okay. And thank you. I really do appreciate that. So like I said, House max of 250 unless otherwise fixed. Now that's something that I need to do more research on. Apparently there's a clause in the Constitution and other laws that allow there to be an exception. So there could be more than 250 if the judicial branch is all like, yep, you can do it. So I don't know what those circumstances are, but I'd like to kind of find out, what are those circumstances? So the president in the Philippines, he acts as the head of state, government leader, commander-in-chief. Yes, I have notes down here to make sure I don't flub any of the basic stuff up. And he also serves a 6-year term and cannot be reelected. Now that, to me, that's an interesting proposition. So relating this back to U.S., because again, that's what I'm comfortable with, and that's what I know. U.S. presidents serve for 4 years, but can be reelected for one other. And that's interesting. To think 6 years, 1 term, and you're done. And of course, there have been exceptions to that in Filipino history. Exceptions of which I will not speak because honestly, I am not well enough informed to be talking about such things. See here. Yeah, not gonna go there. I see what you're trying to do there, Anthony. Not gonna fall for that. But I appreciate it. I think you owe me a like for me not falling for that trap from Anthony. So now the vice president of the Philippines, he serves a 6-year term as well. He or she, and that's actually something I really got to give credit to the website of the Philippines where I got a lot of this information. They actually do a really, really good job of using either gender neutral language or gender inclusive. So rather than just assuming he, a lot of it is he/she or they. That's pretty progressive. I got to give him credit, because even in a lot of like the websites for run by the U.S. government, they're not up with the times on that. So yeah, thank you. So yeah, he or she will become president if he's unable to. And the interesting thing about that is, let's say the vice presidential seat becomes what's the word I'm looking for? It becomes vacant for any reason. The sitting president, actually gets to pick his own vice president, and usually it's done from, I believe, the Senate. Senate? Did I make a note on that? Yeah, I don't think I made a note on that. Yeah, I think from the Senate. But here's the kicker. He can pick that person, but they have to be confirmed by 3/4 majority in Congress. So he can't just go off picking somebody crazy. He has to pick somebody who's they're gonna go, okay, yeah, they're gonna be a good leader. So that's actually, I think that's a decent set of checks and balances. Whether it's perfect, I don't know. Still, I got to do a lot of research on that, and I am leaning heavily on you to see what we can kind of learn together on that. Pardonnez-moi. Let's see here. So the cabinet is usually made up of now they're usually appointed by the president and of course confirmed. They're confirmed by the Commission of Appointments. That sounds amazing. But the vice president doesn't necessarily have to be part of the cabinet. Up to whose discretion that is, I don't really know. But from what I can read and what I can see, it's actually considered to be, wow, those viewer numbers just keep going up and down. It's considered to be, I don't know, not normal, not average. It's just considered to be a standard thing for the vice president. Oh, thank you for the extra like. Appreciate that. It's considered to be a standard thing for the president for the vice president to be part of the cabinet. The vice president, no, sorry, we already talked about that. So the Supreme Court are appointed by the president. Oh, got another like. Thank you. Supreme Court is appointed by the president, and unlike in the U.S., because again, that's what I know. That's why I'm, kind of comparing, not for any other reason, just because, Anyway, the Supreme Court, they serve until age 70. And I think I got another like. Thank you. Wow, I'm getting all the likes today. Appreciate that. So they serve until age 70, which, on the U.S. side, I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that is a lifetime appointment. However, they can step down at their leisure. But I think it's interesting, and actually maybe a good thing, maybe not a good thing, that appointment ends at age 70. I don't know. Again, I don't know how to feel about that, and I am leaning on you to let me know in the comment section down below how you feel about that. All right. So here's one thing that I thought was really cool, really interesting. There's a position in the Filipino government called the ombudsman. Now, I was not familiar with this at all until I looked deeply into it. So the ombudsman is now their job is to independently monitor all three branches of government, specifically looking for signs and evidence of corruption. Now the ombudsman is not actually, they don't act alone. From what I could see, what I could research, they actually have six, deputies. 6 deputies for different sections. So, for instance, there's an overall deputy, a deputy for Luzon, Visayas, Mindanao, one for the armed forces, and a special prosecutor. Let me see what I'm... Oh, I got an extra like. Thank you. Yeah, I'm not falling for that trap. Okay. So that's interesting because you've got, these 6 deputies working under. And I find it really kind of cool that there's evidence, that there's this person looking for evidence of corruption in not just the 3 branches of the government, but specifically adding in special prosecutor, armed forces, and one just a deputy specifically looking overall. That's kind of cool. I really like, I guess flipping to the US side, I guess we kind of have, organizations and watchdogs looking for that kind of thing. But I don't think that we are as proactive and have people set aside specifically for it the way the Philippines does. So I got to give it to the Philippines on that. I think that's an awesome mechanic. I really like that. So that led me to looking into political parties in the Philippines. And there are a lot. Now, to sort of paint this, why I say a lot. Here in the US, yeah, we've probably got we've got 2 major ones, and then we've got tons of what we call third parties. And these third parties don't usually win any large elections. And when they do, it's because they run as one of our main 2. However, in the Philippines, that is not the case. From what I can tell, there are 9 major ones. Hey, Dan, how you doing? I'm doing pretty good. Hey, how you doing? Oh, wait, I just saw a thing. You have some good stories about the Philippines. It definitely helped when I visited. Oh, thank you. I appreciate that. So there are 9 major parties, and then there are just, I will say, a ton of other. Ooh, we're up to 13 likes. Thank you. I appreciate that. Wow. We went from 11 to 13 like that. So yeah, just a ton of smaller parties. And I'm currently in the process of looking up, what the deal is, like every party and what they believe in and that sort of thing. It does seem like if I were living in that system and voting in that system, it does seem like it would be a lot to keep up with, but maybe there's something there that makes it more simple. It seems like here in the US, because we've only got the main 2, it seems to be everything is kind of cut up into black and white. It's either something this party's for, if this party's for it, this party's against it, whatever, on down the list, as far as major issues. In a system with 9 main or major parties, this seems like there would be a lot of overlap where you could potentially shift and be like, hey, look, you believe almost exactly what I do, but this party here, I'm just going to shift a tiny little bit, and now I'm in this party. I don't know. Maybe I'm right. Maybe I'm wrong. Like I said, I still need to do some more research, and I am looking forward to you in the comment section down below in order to help myself, other expats, potential future expats, and whatnot. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comment section down below. If I got it right, let me know. If I got it wrong, let me know. And if I don't know, I very much view this to be a discussion. I want to have this conversation with you because I don't know it all. I want to know more. I want to explore Filipino culture. And I can only really do that by having discussions like this. So, yeah, I appreciate all the people out here who came out. I think at our top, at one point, we had 15 people watching the stream live. And we've got 7 people watching it right now. Thank you, guys and girls and gals and whatnot. I don't know. So I'm going to take some questions now. I'm going to, let's see here if we've got any here that I can actually respond to without getting into trouble. You guys are horrible about giving me trouble questions. Let's see here. Ben is all like, I like your haircut. Thank you, Ben. David says he's been in the Philippines for 7 months, but he's going home Tuesday. Oh, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm glad you had a good time. Ooh, tell me what the best time was you had. I'm curious. BK wants me to imagine if Clinton was vice president. Yeah, no, I'm good. I try not to live in fantasy land. I mean, what we got is what we got. So, Filipinos in general choose who they think is a smart and good candidate for those positions, regardless of their parties, says Holden Caulfield. Mac thinks I took my notes from Wikipedia. I will admit that was actually one source, but not the main source. The Philippines actually has some really good websites on the .ph domain, giving people information about how all this stuff works. Our country needs some kind of form of federal government. One reason is geography is composed of many islands. Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, Sergeant Joe. Let's see here. You have some good. Okay, yeah, I already read that one. Let's see here. Sergeant Joe says, what are your two major political parties? Here in the U.S., we've got the Republicans and the Democrats. Republicans, actually, I should have probably done that backwards because this is the right side of the screen. This is your left, I think. Is that right? Okay. So Republicans, they are considered right-wing. The Democrats, left-wing. This is the Conservative Party. This is the Progressive Party, if you will. And the issue with that is, in a system that has left and right, there are so many people like here in the middle that feel like they get left out. Oh wow, we're up to 15 likes. Were we up to 15 before? Holy crap! Appreciate that. Thank you. I think I was freaking out about 13. Now we're at 15. That's amazing. All right. Let's see, what else? What other comments do we have here? You look like you've lost weight since the Philippines. That's something I don't really like to talk about on video, but I have. I've lost about 20 pounds. I'm eating much less rice now. I'm also eating less per day. Like I'm only eating once a day, and I know that's not healthy, but I'm eating once, and then sometimes I'll grab some sandwiches, like when I get home from like my day job, my real job type thing. So, let's see here. Let's see. Any other questions, comments, matters of concern? Is Manila Airport nice place inside? Dan, actually it is. I've got, I think, 2 different videos where I went through the Manila Airport. So you can check those out if you want to through those. One is actually an entire tour guide through that. One is through the domestic side. One is through the international side. Not sure if I have the information about when you first get there and first land, though. If memory serves, I watched something about U.S. Electoral College there in the U.S. Yeah, so the U.S. Electoral College, to be honest with you, most Americans don't really understand how the hell this thing works and why it's there. Okay, I won't say most, but a large number of Americans don't really understand the Electoral College. And so the way that that's supposed to work is it's supposed to protect the minority of the country from the tyranny of the majority. Whatever that means. Actually, I mean, I could explain it, but honestly, the whole thing, whatever. That's a political discussion I don't want to get into, but essentially it's so that, let's say, 51% of the country doesn't do something horrible that 49% doesn't want to do. Like if it comes that close, someone who's supposedly more knowledgeable, supposedly more, in tune with things can pull it back from, a grievous error. And the weird thing is, actually, if those people vote against the people they're supposed to be voting on the behalf of, if they vote against those people, they can actually face fines. Like I think it's $1,000 or something. So even if I'm like Ermit Gerdness, if I'm somebody in the Electoral College, and I'm like, we can't have Kermit the Frog as a senator. That just doesn't work. But the people voted Kermit in. That person then has to go, do I want to pay that $1,000 fine or no? I don't know. It's the whole system, I think, doesn't work ideally, but it works. And it's been there for a long time, and I don't think it's going to go anywhere. Some people here keep hitting on the vice president when she is powerless in a Duterte. Okay, when you say hitting on, are you talking about hitting on her in what sense? Like, are they all like, bow chicka wow wow, Miss Vice President, how you doing? Are they hitting on her like that? Or is it just like, picking on her, like that kind of thing? Like, I'm unsure what you mean. In Manila Airport, is Terminal 3 inside Terminal 1, or do I need to take a taxi? Yeah, no, homie, you just walk there. Just walk. Terminal 3 is international, if memory serves. Terminal 1 is domestic. So you just leave international after you do your, after you go through customs and immigration, and you just hightail it over to Terminal 1. If you ask anybody, they'll tell you. This may come as a surprise or a shock, or maybe not. I don't know. But the vast majority of people you're going to run into at the airport and in Manila in general will understand English. Some and a lot will speak it. That was something that definitely caught me off guard, caught me by surprise. I was not anticipating that. I mean, I thought maybe that people there would speak English the way that a lot of Americans speak Spanish, but no. Like, it's, at least in Manila, it's, really good, decent English. Maybe with an accent. Some people are more, what's the word I'm looking for? Taken back by accents. I am not. I can understand people speaking English in the thickest of accents. My mother, on the other hand, she has trouble even when someone has a slight accent. So, but yeah, for the most part, you'll be fine. That's not an excuse, though. You should always learn a little bit of the language while you're there, even if it's just how to say, hello, how are you? Where is the bathroom? You should do that. It's important. It shows respect. All right. Well, we are getting to about 30 minutes. My goodness. So I will go ahead and wrap this up unless anybody has any other relevant questions to the way that the Philippines government works. I'll go ahead and give it 5, 4, 3, 2. We didn't hit 20 likes. No. 1. All right. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that make me love my job. And I do mean genuinely, I love my job because I just got to have a half-hour conversation with a bunch of strangers about the way the Philippine government works. That's awesome. Also, hopefully we'll keep the conversation going in the comment section down below when this turns into a video. Till next time, don't forget to like, subscribe, and do all those things that make me love a job. Also, be awesome to yourself and amazing to each other. Bye. See, here's the part where I'm going to be really quiet because when this turns into a video, there's going to be linky things here. I got to do this for like 20 seconds. It's not quite 20 seconds. I mean, that right about there might be. There we go. Maybe? Is it 20 seconds? I don't know.